The Rebel Capitalist Show.
A lot of times when I do a video, as an example, on deflation or hyperinflation or something like that, people in the comments will say, oh, well, why are you predicting this? Or you just did inflation last week. How are you predicting deflation now? And I say, no, you don't understand. My whiteboard videos are not predictions. They're explanations. That's it. And I may seem pretty convincing when I'm explaining something, but you need to take this ball and run with it. That's exactly right. And I wish more people would think that way. But I think just the way we're hardwired as human beings, we want to delegate the hard thinking and the heavy lifting to someone else, so we can pay more attention to the things that we want to, such as, spending more time with our kids and worrying about walking the dog and soccer practice and all these other things. But unfortunately, what's that saying, that if you want to be successful, you have to be willing to do the things that unsuccessful people aren't willing to do. And I think it applies to, I sent out a tweet this morning that applies to weight loss. I think it applies to making money, and it definitely applies to investing for sure.
Yeah, it comes down to discipline ultimately. I mean, everybody wants the shortcut. Humans are lazy by nature. Everything we've done in terms of technology has been to make our lives easier. I mean, that's what we do. And so, when particular markets are going up like they're going up now, no one's worried about them going down. So they just want, hey, which stock is going up? Tell me the stock to buy. Tell me the currency to be. Tell me what to do. Yeah. And that's fine. There's a lot of smart people out there, but you have to understand that they are every single one of them, no matter how smart they are, is making an educated guess about an unknown future. It's no more than that when you boil it down. Now, some of them research it more than others. Some of them throw darts at the board, and there's no telling which one of them is going to be right on any given day. But if you are going to rely on other people's guesswork to be the solution to your financial future, it's a very dangerous thing to do, unless you hand everything over to people that you trust, who are making a guess about the future and have a track record that you can sit comfortably with. If you want to take advice and then go day trade yourself, every guy who's given you an idea, you better be listening to every word he says, because if he's the guy who's going to tell you when to take that thing off and you're not paying attention, you're going to end up holding those shares when he's told everyone else, hey, you know what, I saw some news today, I think it's time to get out. So, by doing that, by taking someone else's idea, you make a rod for your own back, because you're not in that many times because you understand the reasons why you're in that, and you don't understand really the reasons how you're supposed to trade that. You've just got a great idea. And many times the worst thing that can happen is you have a great idea, you buy the stock from someone's tip, and the stock goes up straight away. Because what people tend to do is relax. And they stop really paying attention to it. And then obviously, if the stock goes down, the first thing they do, instead of selling it, is, okay, what happened? How do I find out why did the stock go down? What's in the news? And all the time you're reading this stuff, all the people that understand why it went down are ahead of you. Right. So, it's so important to understand the hows and the whys, and not just the whats. People, particularly in markets like we have now, which is unlike anything I've seen, catching that lightning in a bottle seems that much easier. And it's very difficult mentally for human beings who buy shares and they go up to think anything other than how smart I am. Very few people think, wow, that was lucky, right? People think I'm a genius, and they go and tell their neighbors, and they tell, hey, I bought such and such a stock and it's gone up, and I bought Bitcoin or I bought gold or whatever it is, right? And it's gone up. When stocks go down, people tend to look for someone to blame. I was either unlucky, or, someone had information, or the guy who told me to buy this is an idiot. It just tends to be that way. And that's just human nature. It's very difficult to accept that you've made a mistake. We all struggle with it. And so having a framework through which you invest, and having a certain discipline around that, and understanding not to let shares get too big, and understanding, when to let winners run and when to take some of them off the table for pullbacks, and when to cut your losses first and foremost, is crucial. And it's something that it really can't be taught, but you can learn it. And there's a distinct difference between the two. You know, I can't teach anyone how to size their positions, but you can offer guidance. The only way you're going to really understand how to size your own positions is to learn. And that's by paying attention, by listening to people, by trying to understand it, by making mistakes, most importantly, but being honest with yourself when you make a mistake, and trying never to make the same mistake twice. That's what kills people, is making the same mistake over and over again. You know, Einstein said that was the definition of stupidity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. But it's okay to make mistakes when you're investing. I mean, we all do it. Christ, I mean, you know, if you're running a portfolio and you get 51% of your trades right over the years, and you can then add on top of that the ability to manage your losing trades so that you minimize the losses and maximize the profits you make on the 51% you get right, you will make a hell of a lot of money.
Right.
But it's about being disciplined. Don't get carried away when it looks so easy like it does now. Hey, you know, Apple and Tesla and all these crazy stocks that are just doing things that make no sense at all to anyone that has a framework and has a discipline. And those people right now are probably missing out, and they're not making as much money as the people who just go, to hell with it, I'm just going to throw some money at the market and I'm going to buy all the stuff that's going up. The people who have a framework and a discipline are not making as much money now. But over the cycle, and these things are cycles, they will do better over the cycle, because it's very difficult to ride a train like this and be making money every day and to know when to get off. It's very difficult because it's such a seductive thing to wake up in the morning and get in the habit of going, how much have I made today? And watching, you know, Dave Portnoy saying, how much am I making today? You get in that mindset. We saw it in 2000 and it's happening again now. But having a framework of discipline, understanding the risk reward of going long the equity market here, the risk is missing out on it, is in many people's eyes, right? The risk is not being in the market. And again, when you see that as being the risk, you know there are bells ringing all over the place. People will look at the S&P at a new record high, and they won't understand that only 11% of the shares in the S&P are making new highs. Right. That, to a seasoned market professional, is a huge red flag. It just tells you that unless you're in the 4 or 5 or 10 stocks that are really going nuts, you're losing money. And so as it gets concentrated in those 4 or 5 stocks that are making money, it becomes so much more perilous when people want to step away from those, or we get some bad news. And if you watch what's happening now with the economy, we're starting to see potential reconnections between the stock market and the economy as delinquency rates start soaring, as welfare checks start to run out, as you know, stimulus runs out, as unemployment unexpectedly yesterday climbed above 1 million initial unemployment claims again. We're starting to see potential ways that the two can reconnect, the economy and the stock market. And anybody who pays attention will tell you, you know, this is one of those things where we've got the alligator jaws, but we all know which one's wrong. Sometimes you think, well, is the bottom line going to catch up, or is the top line going to catch down? We all understand, I think, instinctively, that the stock market is wrong. What's happening to the economy is not representative of where the stock market should be. And so when this catch up happens, the stock market's going to fall. The economy isn't going to miraculously bounce back. So all this stuff is there. And it's, you know, it's incumbent upon people who are having money at work to understand all this stuff and not just be throwing darts at the board, because you've been hitting bullseyes for a long time now. But sooner or later, the dart's going to bounce out the board and stick in your thigh, and that's going to be hell of a painful. And look, there are a million people who can give you a stock tip, right? And some of them will know what they're doing, and some of them won't. And some of them will be that guy that thinks it ends in the 7s, he should buy it. But because there's so many of them, finding people like you who are willing to talk about the hows and the whys and not the whats, those are the people that your viewers should be seeking out. Look for people who will not give you a stock tip, because if you want a stock tip, you can find them easy. Go find the people who will explain to you what's going on, explain to you why you need to be cautious, how you need to think about this, what you need to look for, because that stuff is so much more valuable than any stock tip you could ever be given, I promise you.